What's up, sports bettors? It's Matt Modak here with OddsJam. We have 15 MLB games today. We have 3 NFL preseason games. So I am just going to give you my best bets for today. $500 worth of sharp, mathematically profitable bets. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Of course, all of the bets that I find using OddsJam. I use the positive expected value page. I do a little bit of line shopping in all of the different plays, and I find sharp, mathematically profitable bets that will help you make money in the long run. Admittedly, I am in the middle of a little bit of a cold streak this week, down $677 after a rough day yesterday. Last week was pretty good, up 900. This week I am feeling it. So it's kind of the ebbs and flows of sports betting. The goal obviously is to be up in the long run. You might have some down weeks, but to consistently be up. And that's exactly what has worked with me using OddsJam, up about 13K, 5% return on investment from using OddsJam. Sharp, mathematically profitable bets. That's what I'm going to be placing today. So first off, I always like to start with the positive expected value page. There are 3 plays here. And let me refresh this, make sure it's all constant. So there are 4 plays here on the positive EV page. Looks like we have 3 team totals, 1 under. One thing that I like about these plays is by clicking the recommended filters button, it's only showing plays that fit the best, most profitable criteria and eliminate your variance in the long run. So you're still going to have bad days, bad weeks like I'm in now. But if you give the recommended filters time, like maybe 100, 200 bets, you will be profitable in the long run. So in this case, the 3 team totals, Reds, White Sox, and Mets, and then the under in the Cubs versus Brewers. So let's just start with this first play here, the Reds team total over 3.5. So the win bet line, which is what we are placing it at, prices this at -120. The OddsJam line prices this at -139, with the VIG removed, priced at -127. All in all, equates to a profit margin of 2.08%. So for every $100 bet on this play, you could figure to profit $2.08. While you're not breaking the bank, obviously, on one specific bet, the goal is to make money in the long run. So these plays are a little bit of a lower EV percentage, which is fine. They're still good bets that you shouldn't be avoided because of this. Just note that your mathematical profit margin is a little bit lower. But this one being within market width, 21 cents, is a tight market there. So everything checks out, which I knew it would because it's EV, because it's in the recommended filters. But it's still important to just kind of show you guys what I'm looking for. So the next thing that I like to look at is if you just click into a play, it pulls up odds that every other sports book is pricing this. And no other book is giving you better than -130 odds, which is PointsBet at -131. Every other book has this in the -140s. So getting it at -120 on WinBet represents a pretty good value. And I like to use the Kelly calculator in terms of unit sizing. So this will be about a $60 bet, something like that. I'll go ahead and round all these down to half a unit just to make it easier. So this is going to be $50 on the Reds team total over 3.5. So I need to go to more wagers. Reds team total over 3.5. This is going to be $50. Place bet, and we are good to go. So this is my first bet that I've placed for today's betting slate, $50 here. We are good to go. So now every time what I just did there was add it to my bet tracker. All that information that you see here pulls from adding bets to my bet tracker. So it's definitely important to use. And the nice thing is after you click save, it refreshes it. So I know that the next play, the odds haven't changed. Everything still looks good. So the next one here is the Chicago White Sox team total over 3.5. -105 is what the OddsJam line is pricing this at, with the VIG removed, priced at +103.14. 17 cents in market width, so really, really tight market here. And again, comparing to all the other books, no other book looks like +105. Again, PointsBet is the closest, but every other book has this at roughly even money, or even like -105, like the OddsJam line and the Bet Online play. So +110 on WinBet is a outlier when you compare it to every other book, which is exactly what we're looking for. If you consistently bet on betting opportunities that are outliers, kind of like what you see me doing here, so I need to go to White Sox, that's how you can be profitable in the long run. You're essentially, we're not breaking the bank, nothing overly complicated here, just taking advantage of mispriced lines when their sports books, there's 10, 15 different sports books, however many are available in your state. They all have their own way of pricing odds, and it's really just dependent on how they receive money. So there's always going to be discrepancies because of this situation, because each book has their own way of pricing odds. No book is going to have it perfect. No, not every single book is always going to have the perfect pricing for what a play should be priced at, which is why mathematically profitable betting opportunities exist. So this is my second play. I've risked $100 total. Now the next one, the Mets team total over 3.5 against my Phillies. Again, it's positive expected value. OddsJam line at -118 with the vigor moved at about -109. 17 cents in market width. And again, an outlier when you compare to every other book. So the OddsJam line at -118. Bet Online, which is another sharp book that we like to compare stuff to, at -125. And again, PointsBet being the only book that's closer to the win bet line at -110. So again, nice, sharp, mathematically profitable bet here. -105 on WinBet. Mets team total over 3.5. Going to put another half unit play on this one. So let me go to the Mets game if I can find it. Here we go. Mets team total over 3.5. Another half unit play. So this is going to be my third bet. $150 bet total. Just add this one to my bet tracker. Click save. We are good to go there. Now the last play, looks like these are all on WinBet, so I guess WinBet just might not have gotten enough money on all these plays yet. Under 9.5 in the Cubs versus Brewers game. So this is a day game. So for those of you who are watching this at home, make sure to get this one in early. Lower EV percent here at 0.76%. The OddsJam line again, or the WinBet line again, is at -105. With the OddsJam line just above that at -106. But the reason why this one is a good play, it's 13 cents in market width. So of all the plays that I've locked in, this one has the tightest market by far at 13. Anything that is 15 or below is going to be a really sharp, tight line. And market width just measures the difference between these two numbers. So 13 minus 100 equals 13. And the logic being, the closer these two numbers are together, the more confident OddsJam is in what they're pricing lines at. So that's why we like tight markets and market width and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to put a unit on this one because of the tight market, under 9.5 in the Cubs versus Brewers game. So let me go back to baseball. So this is actually going to be a $100 bet for me. It's going to be the full unit, under 9.5 in the Brewers versus Cubs. $100 here. So now I have risked $250 total. So let me click save on this one. Again, I put $100. So now all of the positive EV, actually looks like another one showed up. Looks like a strikeout play. Bryce Wilson under 3.5, -102 on FanDuel. Perfect. Another play we can add here. The OddsJam line prices this at -118 with the VIG removed, priced at -102. But again, outlier when you compare it to all the other books. And this is actually one that I want to highlight that I really, really think has a ton of value. If we're just looking at what every other book prices this and what they think is the most likely outcome here, BetMGM favoring the under at -120, the over at -115. They're juicing the under more than the over. So they think the under is the more likely scenario. Same thing with Caesars, more favoring towards the under. The OddsJam line, obviously, we put the most weight in, sharpest sportsbook in the world, not heavily, but weighting towards the under, as is PlayUp. FanDuel is the only book that has the opposite, that is favoring the over. So Bryce Wilson under 3.5 strikeouts, and I have to actually go in and log in on FanDuel here, is a sharp play because A, it's positive expected value, and B, every other book thinks that the under is the more likely scenario, except for FanDuel. So we're taking advantage of a mispriced line by FanDuel. So I want to go to the Reds versus Pirates game. I want to go to pitcher props. I want to go to player strikeouts. Bryce Wilson under 3.5. This is just going to be another half unit play for me. $50 bet has been placed. So this is my fifth positive expected value bet that I've placed for a total of $300. And looks like no more showed up. So I have two more profitable bets, $200 more dollars in terms of profitable bets to place. And what I have up here are odds and my best bet for each preseason game tonight. So for those of you sickos at home like me who love watching football, regardless of if it's preseason, go ahead and lock in these bets. Number one, we're looking at the Patriots -4. So this is an example where it technically didn't show up as a positive expected value play because the OddsJam line doesn't have pricing for this. But I went into the odds. I just went sports, NFL, clicked into the odds here, and you see a really sharp play on the Patriots -4. WinBet is the only sportsbook that is pricing the Patriots at -4. Every other book thinks that this is 4.5. Now, beating the line by half a point might not seem like a big deal at the time, but in the long run, even if it's the preseason, if you're consistently beating the closing line, even by half a point, you will be profitable in the long run by a decent amount. Another reason why I like this one is the OddsJam line is favoring the -4.5 as the more likely outcome at -113. The other side of it is at -101. And we are getting the -4 at -110 odds. We're getting it at pretty much even money when you accept the juice, a half point lower than what OddsJam is favoring. So that's the way that I have been using OddsJam to benefit making money on football and basketball, is just taking advantage of spreads and totals like this. So this is going to be another half unit bet for me. I'm just going to put a flat 50 on most of these unless I find a bigger value. But this one, Patriots -4, I do think is a really good bet. So I'm going to put a half unit on this one, $50 placed bet. We are good to go there. Next game is the Packers versus the Saints. And similar logic, except in this case, we're looking at the total. And again, huge outlier on the total going under 39. In this case, it's under 39. Same exact logic. The OddsJam line prices this a half point lower. They're favoring the under at a half point lower. And FanDuel actually prices this total at 38 as opposed to 38.5, like every other book. Now, this would be a value getting it on FanDuel over 38, but I chose to take the WinBet line just because the OddsJam line is slightly favoring the under 38.5. So even though it's very minimal, -109 to -107, OddsJam still thinks that the under is the more likely scenario. So I am betting up half a point, getting that at -110 odds, and placing this bet for half a unit. So I'm going to go in back to the NFL. This is the Saints Packers under 39, another half unit play for me, place bet. And my last bet is also my favorite preseason bet, and you can see exactly why. It's the under in the Rams versus Houston game, another total bet. This one is actually being placed on BetMGM, but similar logic, except we're now betting it a full point as opposed to a half point higher. So BetMGM prices this total at 38.5. The OddsJam line prices this total at 37.5, a full point lower. So we are locking in this under 38.5 on BetMGM. Unfortunately, BetMGM has me limited, so I probably won't be able to get the full 100 on here. We'll see how much they let me place. I have 100. I'll click place bet, and they will let me get, let's see here. They let me get $5.57. Really, really fun stuff. $5.57 is all I could get it, but that should be a full unit play for those of you pricing this at home. And I actually need to remember to add these to my bet tracker. So $50 on the Patriots -4 was $50 on the under 39, and then this should be quote unquote $100 on the under 38.5. And those are going to be my $500 worth of sharp bets today. That's going to be it. Those are going to be all my plays. So a little bit more than I place normally, but we're looking at the Reds team total over 3.5, the White Sox team total over 3.5, the Mets team total over 3.5, under 9.5 for a full unit in the Cubs versus Brewers, under 3.5 strikeouts for Bryce Wilson, Patriots -4, under 39 in the Packers versus Saints, and then again the full unit in the Rams versus Rams versus Texans, under 38.5. And those are going to be all of my best bets for today. So for those of you tailing at home, I would love to hear it. Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel, share with your friends. All that good stuff helps me out a ton. And that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one.